Hello students, good morning. Last time we have started the lesson that is called as 1.2, a synopsis, the Swiss family Robinson. 1.2, the Swiss family Robinson. Robinson. Here, students, already we have studied this lesson. Okay, last time you have taken some, you have understood, you got some knowledge, previous knowledge about this, what is the Swiss family Robinson, and you know the characters which are in this lesson, etc. William, Elizabeth, and their children called as the Fridge, Ernest, Jack, and Frank. Then afterwards, what happens? Because of storm, they missed themselves and they have seen one reef, okay, and just they decided to go and land on the reef. And on that basis, what happens? They started, okay, or they went on the island, okay. The ship's cargo of livestock, guns and powder, carpentry tools, books, and disassembled pinnacle, etc. They filled in their what you call caves and what you call and they moved towards the what you call islands. Then after that, look here. Over the next few days, William, it means the father, attached the floatable old cakes to one another and built a bow that curved around them. The family had landed successfully on the island. They set up a tent and softened the floor with the armloads of grass they cut and spread to serve as their beds. They came to a grove of trees. One tree grew what looked like a gourd on its trunk. The father told Fritz the gourds would make excellent balls and spoons, and they cut them into various utensils. Look here, what happened? One day, what happened? The father, for the next few days, what happened? The father had built, okay, attached the floatable old cakes to one another and built a bow that curved around them. The family had landed successfully on the island. They set up a tent and softened the floor. They set up a tent and softened the flower. And what happens? They came to a grove of trees. Okay, one tree grew what looked like a gourd. As they came nearby the what you call some trees, and they seen that one tree was just like looking like a gourd. And those goods can be what you call used as a what you call for making the bowls and the spoons. After some days, Elizabeth informed William that she wanted the family to move to a safer place. Look at. After some days, they what you call they resided on that okay land. After some days, what happened? The Elizabeth, okay, she told her husband called as William that she wanted to shift her family to a safer place. Their current camp was not only exposed but also very dry and hot. The current camp, the wherever they were living, that camp was somewhat hot and dry area. Understand? It was a somewhat dry area and very dry and hot area. That's why she decided to go to a safer place. Then they built her house of in one of the large trees. If they look here, built a house up in one of the large trees, they would be safe from jackals. She decided to build their house, one of the large tree. It would be safer place from the jackals. She described a perfect tree for the project, one whose trunk was nearly 40 feet diameter. Yes, how much diameter was? 40 feet in diameter. Big tree was its trunk was a 40 feet diameter. The branches were very long and extended straight out from the trunk. The branches were very long and extended straight. The branches were very long and extended straight, out from the trunk, making them perfect platforms for a structure. Making them perfect platforms for a structure. Later, when determining the height of the lowest branches, the father taught the boys geometry and how to use triangles to measure big objects. Yes, look here. That time, now William not only teaching their children about how to build the house, but he was teaching them geometry. Yes, what type of geometry here? Look here. Yes, the father taught the boys geometry and how to use triangles to measure big objects. How to measure the big objects. He tried to use triangles. Understand? He measured a defined distance from the trunk. He measured, first of all, he measured the defined distance from the trunk. Then he calculated angles using several measured two rods. Using the several measured rods, he first of all he measured from distance from the trunk to up to branches, determining that the lowest branch was 30 feet off the ground. Yes, the lowest look here, the lowest branch was the 30 feet off. 30 feet. What was the distance from the trunk? Yes, from the ground up to that first branch, 30 feet. Okay, that is the lowest branch. The men knotted rope at certain intervals. The men, whichever the men were there, they knotted a rope at certain intervals. It means after certain intervals means some after certain gap. The men knotted the rope. Okay, it means they put the knots on the rope after certain gap, after certain intervals, and attached pieces of bamboo in each knot. And attached pieces of bamboo attached in each knot. Thus they created their ladder. It means they created one ladder using the rope. Using the rope, they created ladder, and they put here bamboo. Okay, they knot. First of all, they put after some certain intervals, they put knot to this that rope, and they put the bamboo, small pieces of the bamboo, and made a ladder. Okay, then here, thus they created their ladder. Father returned to the beach and collected driftwood. Okay, thinking it would be perfect to build a sledge on runners rather than wheels. Later they used it to transport materials. Yes. Then after that, what happened? The father, it means William, went on the beach and he has collected some driftwood, which would be used as a to making a sledge. Okay, on runners rather than the wheels. Okay, for the as a sledge, or using the as a wheel. Okay, as a wheel, making a use as a wheel. Later they used to transport materials. For the transport materials, the such type of driftwood are used for as a just like a vehicle. Understand? Just like a build a sledge on runners rather than wheels. Later they used it to transport materials. That sledge, that father went on the beach and he has collected some driftwoods, and those driftwoods are used for the making the sledge, and later those sledge are used for the shifting or transporting the materials. Meanwhile, Elizabeth announced that the garden she had been tending was producing healthy plants. Whichever she was tending, she was cultivating, whichever the land was she cultivating, those land was producing healthy plants. Corn, etc. Okay, corn, melons, pumpkins, and cucumbers were already growing. Okay, such type of vegetables also growing on the land which was tending or cultivating by the Elizabeth. The next day, only the father and Fritz traveled to the woods. It means in jungles. They traveled to the woods means jungles, exploring and finding such exotic plants as one with waxy fruit. Okay, from which candles could be made. Look here, the father, the William and the Fritz, they went in the woods, in the jungle, and started finding out such a plant which can be give wax. Wax means the wax was type of just like a liquid. Okay, thing which can be used for the lighting a candle. Okay, then waxy fruit. Okay, then Fritz discovered a tree. It means plant, just like a plant which gives waxy fruit, and then those waxy fruit can be used to lighting the candles. Okay, then students, up to this we studied here. Okay, better to stop here. We will continue in next period. Till then, you take down the homework. Why did mother wish to shift the family to a tree house? Second one, why did the father and fish travel to, why did the father and the fish travel to the woods? Thank you, students. Have a nice day.